All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMAC coming to you on a Sunday morning. It's last call for baseball. We get 4 days off, unless, of course, you're going to follow Eric Lindquist and play a little bit of the All-Star game. The secret is out. The catchers. Everybody knows now.
Stop it. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Don't do that. Don't do that. EMAC. How many years have we made money on that together? Do not reveal the secrets. Do not. We don't need that.
You know what one of my favorite was? Back when they had the NFL Pro Bowl second half contest, because people would put in the players that were done after the first half.
Incredible stuff. I think tight ends was the secret sauce to that too. But
yes. Yeah. That because there weren't that many, and they had those funky rules. They had to have one on the field at all times, and they only had 2 or 3 per team. Yeah, that was fun. Good times. But we have baseball today. We've got, wait for it, Colorado Rockies. It's one of 162 days where they're playing. So good times there. We've got hot weather across most of the locations. Keep in mind the California games and West Coast games are going off 1 o'clock local time, which will make those venues warmer for Anaheim and to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
What other fun? People are worried about the St. Louis Cardinals are hosting the Atlanta Braves. I believe it's going to rain until about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yep.
However, no baseball for 4 days. These teams already played their other series, and I think rather than try to come up with what do we call it, a one-day makeup game later in the year, I think they just wait around and play it later. I think this afternoon.
But it's also a game that if you just removed it from the universe, I think I'd be all right with it. Yes. St. Louis is interesting. Sonny Gray's interesting as a pitching option, but don't find them necessary on this slate, especially like 9.7K Sonny Gray. He's pulling right around 10% ownership. I have no problem if you want to sit around and say, oh, well, I'm chalky elsewhere and I need to get different, and just understand that there's very much risk there. And there's not really anything. It's kind of like looking at what you would even like pivot to in that window, because we have so many of these games starting right at the same time, that 1:35 Eastern time window. So just kind of keep that in mind here. There's not a lot to maneuver around after that time.
Yes, and there is a sizable 2 o'clock slate, but the sites didn't really put contest out for it. Boo, it's a shame. And no ESPN Sunday Night Baseball tonight. So there's a 4-game featured slate. So those are the things you need to know. I believe we are still waiting on the Pittsburgh lineup. Looks like probably Spencer Horowitz.
Yeah, but what I mean also, just to clarify, like you could get $100 up and go to Evaldi. There's going to be no weather in Houston because they have a dome and can do whatever they want with that. Or they've got just the roof, I suppose. But there's just a no man's land. You're leaving at least 900 to go down for any lineup that has Sonny Gray in it. And all those games that start at, 2:15 Eastern time, basically, 2:10 Eastern time, there are just great offenses everywhere. And there's not really a lot of pitching that I'm all that interested in outside of Hunter Brown at the very top, who is coming off of getting eviscerated. But bounce back spots, they're things.
All right. Well, you are a noted fan of the one and only Hunter Brown. Let's start there, because he is kind of in a battle with Logan Gilbert, who I have thoughts on. The Sims really like Freddie Peralta. And then Jack Flaherty taking on a scorching hot Mariners team here. That's sort of our core 4 up at the top in that salary band. A little bit of a discount for Flaherty, but Hunter Brown is our main talking point for starters. Where do you stand on this? Going against Texas, who I believe has scored like the second most runs in the league over the last 25 days or something like that.
Yeah, there's some inflation when you get to take on in Los Angeles bullpen, like the middle portions of the bullpen, and you get to tee off against some of those nobodies. Not talking about Meyer and some of the better bullpen arms there, but there are lots of pitching options here at the top. And I think it's pretty clearly for me at ownership right now, Hunter Brown. Logan Gilbert looks great, and he's been awesome. His pitch count is no longer a concern. We don't have to think about that anymore.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be something that at 10-2 with the strikeout matchup that it's going to be that crazy. I mean, he had 88. He didn't pitch well against the Yankees. He got up to 95 pitches against Kansas City. I think 100's on the table if they again, I don't think the pitch count's a concern. He got teed off. What was really unlucky is that they had a rain delay in that last game. And then he had to go back out after an hour rain delay and get teed off on after he was perfect through 4.5 or 5 it was. And so it was a very unlucky run out for Logan Gilbert in New York for that last outing. 95 pitches, though, in the outing previous to that. Yeah, I think he is just fine. I have no pitch count concern. 0, actually. And Hunter Brown is definitely the guy that I think if you had just put the two next to each other in their specific spots, you would have said, oh, Hunter Brown's coming in, rolling. They're both coming off of eviscerations. And it's easier for me to look past Logan Gilbert, but I do think we end up getting lesser ownership on Hunter Brown, probably some sour grapes for some people there against Cleveland. And, guys run into bad starts from time to time. He gave up a ton of fly balls relative to what he normally does in that spot, 10-6, as opposed to traditionally it's, a ground ball, more of a ground ball inducing guy or had been here of late. So I like the Hunter Brown side of it. You look at his K prop, 6.5, still a little bit of juice towards the over. It's hard for me to, at 10-7, get him into all of the lineups that I want to, but he's the guy that I just kind of see the ownership and I think, man, if he didn't have a bad outing last time, I think we'd be talking about him and Gilbert being around the same ownership. And that is not the case right now, EMAC. And I just feel, there's less of a chance of him getting destroyed. Whereas I feel like Logan Gilbert is very live to get destroyed. Detroit's just a good baseball team. I know that, as you said, Seattle came into this series, had a couple of really nice outings and obviously went completely ballistic, but EMAC doesn't like that. So he's gone. I very much like Hunter Brown at their respective ownerships here. He had to go. EMAC had to go.
No, my dog is just pissing me off. I'm home alone with the dog, and she's fine until I get on a show, and then she's very needy. And now I'm going to listen to her whine in the other room, but that's okay.
Happy Evaldi Day, EMAC. You're a Nathan Evaldi stand for today.
Well, that's what Stephen Leibowitz. I'm sure that was from Stephen Leibowitz. We like to wish each other a happy Evaldi Day.
That's nice.
But you got to pronounce it correctly, Evaldi, or a little bit of a yeah, not Eovaldi.
Yeah.
So here are my concerns on Gilbert. Missed 6 weeks with that strained forearm. Fortunately, it was not a major elbow issue. In his 6 starts, in his 5 starts, 84, 90, 84, 95, and 88 pitches. So I don't think 100 is on the table. I think low 90s is. And for me, that, we are paying full freight for that. A lot of people may not realize this, but the Motor City Kitties, #1 record in the league by 2 games.
Yep. They're good.
It's not a cakewalk lineup. When we've got Hunter Brown here, I like him the most. You're paying a ton, especially on the secret site, Yahoo, 53 over there. He's got to thread the needle against Texas. And, he's made his first all-star team. He's third best odds for the American League Cy Young. He is second overall with the 2.21 ERA. He has just been phenomenal, and the strikeouts are even better than they were last year. 25.5% last year, 30.8 this year. That is just what I want to get on my lineups here. Now, where we're diverging, I'm not playing DraftKings today, so I don't have the 2-pitcher build aside from on Yahoo. I am not going to Nick Martinez. So we'll talk about that in a second. But in turn, I've kind of am focusing on the four top pitchers here. Less so on Flaherty. He's had a couple rough outings recently. You do get a nice bit of a discount from the other 3 on DraftKings. How are you feeling about Flaherty against this scorching Mariners offense that has scored 27 runs in Motown over the last 48 hours.
Yeah, I'm starting to roll in some bets on Seattle guys. Canzone, I do get a little bit worried. Like, we haven't seen it so far because there hasn't been a need to pinch hit, but like Luke Raley's at least up in the lineup today. He's batting fifth. He's just a good hitter overall. There's a reason that they were able to, depart with Rowdy Tellez once Luke Raley got better, because he's by far the superior hitter, and he has the ability to play the outfield if they need to later down the line. Him and Dominic Canzone, two guys that I'm kind of a fan of today. I think that they're just kind of like really nice pairings with, going up against Jack Flaherty. He's just got a lefty problem this year. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I brought this up so much from a betting perspective, but 225 ISO is way up there for a pitcher the quality of Jack Flaherty. I mean, 225 ISO with an 18-degree launch angle. He is very fortunate to be in the ballpark he's in right now, because if he were in another ballpark, I got to tell you, he would not be enjoying his time there. Just about anywhere else outside of like Seattle, outside of San Francisco. Although Seattle, I suppose, has like a shorter porch strike. If you go through Cal Raleigh's expected home run numbers, it's shocking how much better Seattle is than people probably think, or than I thought for sure. Yankee Stadium would be detracting like 7 or 8 home runs off of his total this season that he gets in Seattle. I find that unbelievable, but that's neither here nor there. It's just one of those stat nerd things that are fun to look at. I am a big fan of, getting away from Jack Flaherty today and getting more towards the Seattle team. Like in single entry, I think Seattle is actually really, really interesting just because of the ownership Flaherty's getting. And don't get me wrong, there's still some strikeouts available, especially, you talk about one side of the equation, the lefty problem. Well, the right side of the equation is ridiculous. He has a 33% K rate against righties, does have a 180 expected ISO against them. So there is still some power that's up for grabs there. But that knuckle curve, the knuckle curve has a 31% swinging strike rate. That is absurd against righties. Like, absurd that pitch is able to do what it does. So I think Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena, they're not going to be a major part of the equation for me. Mitch Garver, I think, is in a pretty terrible spot as well. But Dominic Canzone, Luke Raley, I'm a big fan of like getting to some of these lefties against Flaherty as a little bit of a contrarian stance.
Okay, I think that is a pretty good call. And that's sort of where I agree. That's kind of been his Achilles heel, is opposite-handed hitters.
Oh, yeah.
So it just
like it is for most righties, but especially so for a Jack Flaherty who's very, very good otherwise.
Yes, it stands out.
Correct.
When you are digging into it. So the guy we didn't talk about, fastball Freddie Peralta here. He gets to go against the Washington Nationals. Nationals were a little bit frisky yesterday, so that was interesting. I think it was Brady House had 2 home runs, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about Peralta? I know he's somebody that you are well versed in analyzing.
Yeah, it's really a good spot. Obviously, taking on a Nationals team that, outside of Abrams up there, there's still strikeouts available. You get to Wood, you get to Bell, who doesn't really strike out a ton, but I think he actually looks pretty good in this matchup. This just comes down to our projections. We've always ended up being higher, I think, than the field, or than, the consensus around the industry on Freddie Peralta. And I'm starting to see a little bit of why. I like what he does against righties for sure. 29% K rate, limits the power. He's a fly ball pitcher, so you really need to do that. Against lefties, it's been even better this season. We're talking under 100 ISO overall. So, like, if he's just continuing to limit lefty power, we're talking about a really good opportunity every single time out for him, especially one like this that, that's the main concern that you have is it's like, man, Abrams, number of these guys, but with no Wood in the lineup today, you got to feel so much better about his chances of being able to kind of get by here. Alex Call moved up to the 2-hole. By the way, I bet his walk. So Alex Call to walk, I think, is actually a really sneaky look. Right around 11.3% walk rate against righties. Just going to be somebody that generally he dominates them, but It's a pretty big price. Anything you're getting plus money on, batting second there. Alex Call, I think, is a really good option. Kind of like the Gleyber Torres of the Washington Nationals today, if you
will. That is a comparison I was not expecting to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it is. Gleyber Torres is up there to get on base for, well, generally Carpenter right behind him, or Riley Green right now, the injury. But yeah, Gleyber Torres is there to set the damn table, and he's very good at it.
So interesting enough, you mentioned betting and sports wagering. For anybody that has not signed up yet for Portfolio EV, you can get 7 free days by going to the YouTube description here. There's a link in said description. And when you sign up, your first 7 days are going to be free. And this will be fun because there are sports other than baseball that will be going on for the next 4 days. So everybody will start looking for action around 7 o'clock tonight when they're suddenly missing baseball. So keep in mind, you can get to Portfolio EV. And then also, everybody that has an MLB only package here will get full access to all of the other Stokastic sports for the next 4 days. So that should be fun as well, because we want you guys to get a little value, even though there's no baseball going on. Get a little value out of the Stokastic subscription here. All right, so those are the guys at the top, Eric. The guy that's kind of the cutoff line, well, there's 2 of them. Sonny Gray, in going against Atlanta. Gray's kind of been all over the board with his performances. So has Atlanta. Atlanta mostly healthy here. I wouldn't worry about the weather because the home team controls the start time. So they are going to wait till it's advantageous to put Gray out there. So how do you feel about Gray, and is Eovaldi in the conversation for our mid-tier pitchers?
The main thing to bring up is the weather. It's not good. It's very brutal. They've got to wait around a long time. If that ownership comes down, it would be really intriguing to get like Sonny Gray at 5%. Like, that's something on the table. I think we all know where to get weather information, and we all do it. And it's pretty simple to see that there are some issues there in St. Louis for today. So I think that's the first thing to address, is like, maybe that ownership comes down to a place where you want to roll it out with some chalkier stacks and take those shots. You get another hour and a half still until you have to actually make a decision there on what to do. So keep all of those factors in mind. But as you get into it too, Nathan Eovaldi is sneaky. Like, Nathan Eovaldi, like, I didn't mean to poo-poo it earlier, but I was just curious because, you guys were joking around saying that it's Nathan Eovaldi day. And I just tend to be more in line with, like, maybe this is just who he is now. Have you seen how good he is to both sides this season? I mean, we're seeing strikeouts to lefties and to righties. 26.3% K rate against lefties, 27% K rate against righties. Now, righties, he's always been shut down against, considering he's an extreme fastball. Like, just, that's his repertoire. It's fastball followed by fastball. But you look at the lefty numbers, 196 expected ISO. Yeah, it's a little freaky, but this is the thing I bring up all the time. Houston has no lefties. 0. They have Taylor Trammell and Victor Caratini. Like, what are we actually doing here for the Houston? Because I think Houston would be a sneaky team to bet if they were to acquire some lefty power here. But without Jordan Alvarez in the lineup, I think Nathan Eovaldi is set up to really succeed in this spot. And, outside of Caratini, Trammell, right in the heart of it, you have so many opportunities for him to achieve like the ultimate strikeout upside spot. And again, a .041 ISO to righties this season, that doesn't even make sense, Emac. He is so shut down against them. It's ridiculous. So, like, yeah, I think Nathan Eovaldi is probably my favorite pitcher relative to ownership on the entire slate.
So did you know that Trammell was a first-round draft pick out of high school?
Yeah, the Seattle Mariners, of course.
2016. No, Cincinnati.
Oh, was it Cincy? Oh,
yeah, he was with Cincy. The Mariners didn't get him till after the pandemic.
Okay.
And I think he was from San Diego, if I remember correctly now. I can't remember the trade, if that was the no, I'm blanking. Who's the righty pitcher who's hurt for Pittsburgh right now, or for Philadelphia right now?
Oh, for Philly? Aaron Nola.
Yeah, I wonder if that was the trade for his brother, who was a catcher with the Mariners in that season.
Now he's catching for Colorado every odd day, which is hilarious to me. But
yeah, Colorado. We'll get to them in a moment here. But yeah, Trammell was. I was just looking to see where he had matriculated from. Last year he actually had 5 games with the Dodgers, 5 games with the Yankees, and then he ended up with Houston in some form or fashion here. So yeah, he is. We were talking a little bit about him pre-show, but he's one of the few guys they have that's swinging the stick from the left side of the plate. So many people are hurt. Obviously, Tucker is now in Chicago, so that makes Houston similar to the Angels, very, very right-handed. And you were talking about Eovaldi. He has always had that amazing fastball. And early in his career, I mean, he was touching 100 quite frequently, but he had such a straight fastball. There wasn't a ton of movement on it. And he would give up a lot of power. He has since, obviously evolved into Eovaldi. I see what I did there. He has matriculated into a very.
Please, no more of that. No more.
I walked right into it. It was like I stepped on the rake and it hit me.
Fuck.
All right, I'll try. I'll try to be better next time.
I love you.
Okay, let's talk about Nick Martinez. Because
sure.
I like Colorado stacks. So the positives for Nick Martinez, 3 games ago, he had a no-hitter brewing before he lost it. The last game, I think he gave up 1.1 million runs, and he had another crappy start, marginal start in between. He debuted back in 2014 with the Rangers. I saw somebody mention that they mentioned him as a younger pitcher. He's not. He's like 34, 35. He spent 4 years in Japan with 2 different teams in the NPB. I know this is the Rockies, and I know we want to attack them, but I'm comfortable stacking the Rockies today as a secondary stack because they are providing the discounts that get us 2 really good starting pitchers. Sell me on Nick Martinez. Or is it
He's facing the Colorado Rockies? He is facing the Colorado Rockies. I mean, it can't be emphasized enough how absurd it is to be facing the Colorado Rockies. 75 WRC plus against right-handed pitching, worst in baseball. 26.7% K rate against righties, highest in baseball. 153 ISO is a little freaky because all they do is basically hit solo shots, but like you can live through solo shots. You just can't have the line moving. And you look at this lineup that they rolled out today, the aforementioned Austin Nola catching and Ryan Ritter, Kyle Farmer, Yanquel Fernandez. I mean, you get through. Tyler Freeman's like a real baseball player. Mickey Moniak might be living up to the billing of like somebody, not the number 1 pick like he was, I think, for Philly, but like he's definitely somebody who might be a serviceable big league player going forward. And then you get Toglia, strikeout machine. Ryan McMahon, strikeout machine. Brenton Doyle, strikeout machine. I mean, there are just strikeouts to be found. Only a 3.8 implied run total in Vegas as well today. And you're getting a 7K pitcher who I don't find to be all that appealing. I don't think he has a great repertoire, but he limits hard hits, 36.7%. He's got a change that I like against some of the lefties. I think the changeup's going to generate more swing and miss against this specific lineup. And despite just a 16.9% K rate, he doesn't walk guys. So he shouldn't be setting the table too much for, some of these guys that have power. And obviously Hunter Goodman, it's one of those things where he's not in the lineup, but you would kind of want it there maybe for strikeouts. But you get Toglia batting 3rd, 38.2% K rate. We're talking one of the best K opportunities there that you're going to face 3 times if you have a normal outing for Nick Martinez. And that makes me very, very happy. Ryan McMahon, 32.2%. I mean, it's not the best strikeout version of this lineup, but boy, is it weak in the bottom half. And I got to think that there is a good opportunity for him to pitch deep into this one.
All right. I don't want to cross him out, but I am playing a decent amount of, or I should say on the 2 pitcher sides, I wouldn't cross him out. I'm not putting him in my main Yahoo lineup. I am not playing DraftKings today. I won't have him on FanDuel most likely, but I am making a concerted effort to go with the Rockies because I do not think they are getting enough love today. I'm just looking here. Okay, never mind. I must have missed. I thought somebody was saying Clay Holmes is going to be the opener today, but I must have looked at a fragment conversation because he's the starter.
I'll find out.
And he's gone 5 innings in each of his last 3 games, et cetera. So
for what it's worth, I mean, this is going to be, you're going to get a quicker hook today than any other day all year long. So like, if you're not on your stuff today and you're just like a mid-tier pitcher, you're probably going to get burned by it to some extent. You're going to get guys pulled after 5 innings, no matter what. You're going to get weird stuff like that. It's kind of why I like getting to either way to the bottom. Aaron Savale, we talked about a little bit pre-show for like 2 seconds. I'm like 5,300 is pretty hard to not maybe roll out a little bit. I mean, you saw what Cleveland's been doing. They're starting to hit the baseball off of it. They got after Hunter Brown, a righty, a little bit better than Aaron Savale, confirmed. But I still think the price tag has its advantages. And, if I'm going to go way to the bottom there, him and Brandon Young are both, I think, somewhat interesting. I'm not saying that you should be playing a ton of them, but I'm playing a little bit of them. I'm getting to trace amounts of them. And, Brandon Young had 95 pitches back in April. He's now been a starter here for 3 consecutive, 61, 71, 66 pitches. I don't think it's as appealing as getting to Aaron Savale, where we don't have any of those risks. The main risk for Aaron Savale is he sucks, and he's finally starting to get punished for his sins. But he's 5,300 today on a slate where, like, if you're trying to get to the tippy top bats, or if you're trying to get, Ellie De La Cruz one-offs, if you're trying to get, some of these guys, Aaron Judge one-off against Imanaga looks phenomenal. Buxton, my Twins look pretty good as a contrarian stack. Like, there's a lot of bats that are expensive that you want to get to, and Aaron Savale's that path.
Yeah.
And Marvin, I can't do Gomber today. I just can't. I've been I've tried to play a lot of Freeland, a lot of Gomber when you get them out of Coors. This is just a disaster spot waiting to happen for Gomber.
Yeah, it's the second best, or it's the best home run park in the league. It's the second best overall run production park in the league. So that's a tough spot. The guy I'm going to, which is funny, is Joey Cantillo. Why I want to go to him instead of Nick Martinez, I don't know, probably because he's younger. He gets a good matchup there against the White Sox. I don't think he's closed out the 5th inning in his last couple starts, but we should get him for around 80 pitches was my guess today. To me, I liked him a little bit better as a contrarian option over Nick Martinez, just for those looking for another salary saver. He would be the guy that I would give my vote of confidence to. The other thing we need to mention is it's hot and humid in Cincinnati, so that is going to elevate the home run potential there. Anybody else here on the pitching that you want to say positive things about?
Oh God. Ryan Pepiot. I think Ryan Pepiot is interesting, 8,800, going up against a Red Sox lineup that brought this up on the previous show with Greg. I don't think they're going to strike out as much now as they're starting to get, Bregman back into the mix, Masataka Yoshida into the mix, but there's still enough strikeouts. And Ryan Pepiot has one of the more interesting pitch mixes as far as like how he's going to go about it. He basically just shuts down lefties. He's a righty who shuts down lefties, and it's all strikeouts against lefties. 31.1% strikeout rate to lefties, only a 19.1% strikeout rate up against righties. So like, it is such a strange way of like looking at the construction of the specific lineup, because like Duran lefty, Roman Anthony lefty, Yoshida lefty, Marcelo Meyer lefty, but then they basically kept righties in for a lot of these spots where you'd otherwise think lefties might be, getting the preferential treatment, rightfully so, because Pepiot's just proven to shut a lot of them down. But the ones who are in there, specifically Duran, Anthony, 1 and 3, that's a really good setup in terms of like projecting out his strikeouts here. I think there's a massive strikeout ceiling if he's got, his specific pitch mix working, that changeup specifically. It hasn't gotten a ton of swing and miss against lefties. He's been a little bit more just fastball heavy, and that's still getting the swing and miss against lefties. But I think there's an actual massive ceiling coming his direction in one of these outings where a team really get some lefties out there. There aren't as many as I would want to see in the Red Sox lineup today, but the ones that are pretty advantageous spots.
All righty, just dropped the link into chat for the Spotlight Pitchers and Top Stacks article that is free every day on
Last one to bring up too. Last one to bring up, Yuri Perez. I want to get your thoughts on him, but continue on.
Yes, so Hall of Fame promotion here. So you guys have heard us talk about it. You've seen it. You've got to see people inducted into the Hall of Fame by Lofty. All you got to do, download this one of these fancy Stokastic avatars, upload that to your DFS site of choice, finish top 3 in any contest with at least 5,000 people. That's first, second, or third. A 3-way tie for first is fine. Not a 50-way tie in Showdown, so that doesn't work that way. But you will get inducted into the Hall of Fame if you tweet a screenshot with that Stokastic avatar visible to Stokastic HOF on Twitter. And you now get multiple levels of the Hall of Fame extending up to the Ring of Honor. If you get any $20,000 or higher win, you're going to get a fun little ring to display on your desk or wherever you would like to. But this is a good deal, the Stokastic Hall of Fame. Yuri Perez, I am less than enthralled by either of the pitchers in this game, mostly because of the weather. And that just had me looking elsewhere. I think Perez, if this was in Miami with the roof closed, I would have a little bit of interest in Perez, but I don't today with this game being in Camden Yards. Yeah, go ahead. But I'm not playing 150 on DraftKings, so I don't have. Yeah. I don't have a need for him on FanDuel. So
I have a need for him on DraftKings to some extent. I think he's another pitcher. I'm just a little bit overweight on all of these guys. Pepio, a little bit overweight on him. I mean, Hunter Brown, Logan Gilbert, Freddie Peralta. Those 3 are cornerstones of my lineup. They're in most everything that I'm doing. One of those 3 at least at the top. But if I want to get to some of these major stacks, and Ellie De La Cruz, Aaron Judge one-offs, like those 2 specifically are just showing up in the Sims for me over and over and over again. And the path to getting to them is finding some of these cheaper individuals. And Nick Martinez, his ownership's gone up throughout this show. He was sitting like right around the 10, 11, 12% number, sitting right around 14%. I don't think people are silly. Like they're playing a guy against Colorado, but Yuri Perez is even cheaper there. Like that idea. You're going to Cantillo. I think he's interesting. I think just being a little bit overweight to each of these guys on the lower end and just kind of hoping you have the right combination makes the most sense.
All right. Your boy, Clintwood, 83, says, good morning, gentlemen. Sorry if I missed it, but who are the DK Cash pitchers? Love you both, but of course, Eric Moore. Well, I mean, that works out, right?
He didn't say that, did he?
I think that's what he says. Love you both, but I'm reading into it.
Okay.
Well, I think he likes the guy with glasses because he put a guy with glasses in the tweet. So that'd be me. That'd be me. Who are the cash game pitchers? I'm assuming Brown and Nick Martinez. Yeah,
I am going Hunter Brown, and it would be Hunter Brown, Logan Gilbert for me, but probably Freddie Peralta. Like I have no problem with Freddie Peralta. He's the more popular of the 2. I have no problem if you want to go that direction simply to get all of the bats that you want in there. But it's definitely a day to play the expensive guys for cash today. There's with so many games again on the slate here, we've got more than enough value to kind of mix and match. You've got some real cheap pieces kind of all over the place that make sense. Like I'm just kind of going through some of the top value pieces. And this is another thing that I think is amazing. You've got the single lineup sim up right now. Just go to like all and then sort by value on the far right. So if you go to the far right over there, sort by the value button. Now, this is going to give you an idea of some of the best point per dollar based on our projections, like a Graham Pauley is just looking ridiculous there, stuff like that. But Lenyn Sosa is such a good cash game option today against Cantillo, moved up to 4th in the order, 2,500. So like guys like that, you feel so much better being able to get like a couple of those guys in, and you can always complete the lineup based on the pitchers that you put in at the top. And you can do it that way. Obviously, You probably don't want to be doing that ever in tournaments, and obviously run the simulation. Not even necessary. We're just basically trying to get the top projected lineup in on a day in, day out basis, and trying to like not limit risk by any means, but like you're putting together something like that. Yeah, Nolan Jones batting second today again, 2,800. Guys like that are going to allow for you to still get to Elly De La Cruz, who absolutely needs to be your shortstop today. Just kind of like looking through the board for cash, like it's such a fun roster construction slate for that, because there will be people who go to a really cheap starting pitcher, and I think that's just wrong today. But there's still paths to getting to all of the main guys that I want to. Spencer Steer would be in cash. Elly De La Cruz would be in cash. Good luck to you, my dude, Clint Wood.
So let's just quickly, like if we went Martinez and Hunter Brown, your projection's 109. It's just like 2 points more than going with the safer pitcher. So I think you're correct. The safer pitcher is the way to go. All righty. Stacks.
Oh, darling.
Stacks. What it's Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, and I just get done going on this diatribe about cash. Elly De La Cruz is the one Cincinnati Red that I just will not play this slate without. I'm going to be very, very much overweight to him in tournaments even. The stolen base opportunity here too with Nola behind the dish. Like he gets on base, he's going to run. He's probably going to hit for power against Gomber. He's going to do everything that you need to. And in cash, those guys who provide a floor when they get on base and just can run and do everything else that Elly De La Cruz can do, create havoc on the base paths. Those are the guys that, in tournaments make sense. From a full slate perspective, though, it's the only team pulling double-digit ownership. They're pulling tons and tons of ownership. And I will say this, like Nick Martinez is not good, and so I will have some Colorado stacks going up against him. But the Cincinnati Reds, if they go off for tournaments today, outside of De La Cruz and Spencer Steer, who it seems like I'm going to play no matter what as well, I'm probably going to have a bad day. So I'm really cheering against the Cincinnati full stack, but they have a 6 implied run total. It makes sense that they're the most popular stack on the slate. I just am going to be underweight to them because they're going to be freakishly popular.
So that takes us, and I agree with everything you said. No need to belabor that. That takes us to Milwaukee.
Yeah. Jake Irvin must pay for his sins, but
Jake Irvin has one superpower. He takes the ball every 5 or 6 days. That
is a superpower, I suppose.
It's not bad. Don't expect good things to happen when he's on the mound, but it's a useful skill set. But he is someone that I think we desperately want to stack against. Who are your favorites of this for the Brewers?
Yeah, so the Brewers, Christian Yelich seems pretty good. This is just
an MVP, former batting champion. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, he seems pretty good. His back is all right at the moment, and that makes me happy because he's obviously a guy that I cheer for a lot. Frelick, Churio, Bowers, even. You look at Washington, and one of the things that I do every single day that I still think there's an edge to in betting, and it's just simply going through bullpens and knowing which teams have which guys available for which days and being able to kind of read the tea leaves on that. There are 2 guys, Jose Ferrer and Schauffele, that are your 2 lefties in the pen. Both of them pitched yesterday, and Ferrer's pitched the last 2 days. So I think Schauffele's the only guy that could legitimately be available for them today. And that limits the pinch hit risk for a guy like Bowers in such a way where like, he's a markedly different play to me today than what he would be on a slate where there are 2 or 3 lefties available in the pen. So do you want to, if you're Washington, utilize a bad lefty in that spot against Bowers, or like, what do you do there? I think you just play Bowers as a result. I mean, they need a first baseman, no Rhys Hoskins in there, and I think he's just safe. He also is somebody who can play the outfield if need be. So there's ways that he just stays out on the field with only one lefty that I assume to be available for today in that pen. So those are the guys that I think make the most sense. Yelich, Bowers, just as like the cheap salary guy to make everything work in that stack. Milwaukee looks good, and their ownership is tolerable in a way where it's really not palatable in any way, shape, or form on the Cincinnati side.
All right. How do you feel about Tampa Bay? They were kind of on my contrarian side here.
Tampa Bay looks good. I mean, you get to go into a good hitter-friendly environment here in Boston, and Brian Bayo, despite what you just saw against Colorado, complete game, he's not that dude. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. And overall, like, you get Chandler Simpson up at the top of this order. You know what Chandler Simpson's trying to do? Again,
steal bases.
Steal a bazillion bases. I mean, has he been caught stealing like more than once this year? I kind of have to look at this. I want to know.
Yeah, well, I know he went back down to the minors, and when he came back up, there were a couple articles that said, he really could end up leading the league in stolen bases, because when they sent him down, I think he had 19 or something like that. So he is
net bases gained 18, base running runs 5 that he's added to the team. I mean, he's so ridiculously fast. It's ridiculous. I mean, 30 his speed score, sprint speed over in Baseball Savant, just absolutely absurd. Let's see, above average, 14 stolen bases above average. Just his StatCast stuff just looks absolutely absurd. Steal attempt, looking at everything here. I mean, yeah, he gets on base, he's going to run, and they're not going to be able to stop him. So it just is what it is. But yeah, I like everything about getting to Tampa Bay there. Junior Caminero batting 6th is kind of weird to me today. I don't really understand why you'd have Jake Mangum up there in cleanup when you have Junior Caminero on your team. But
you mean all-star Junior Caminero?
You mean crazy amount of power, pop in the bat that he's shown now in multiple places. 22 years of age, Junior Caminero. Yeah, he's absurd.
Yeah, it's definitely fun having a good. Now that I'm in Tampa Bay, I tend to watch more of their games.
Dan, quit spamming the chat.
Afar, but...
Dear God. Oh, he's just spamming the chat. The numbers, the Stokastic. Yeah, what are you talking about? They're the only double-digit owned team, and the ownership projections can only do so. Again, you're getting so much fluidity on a day in, day out basis in a sport like this, because a team can go from 10 to 15%, and it's very hard to capture in projections. And you play enough single entry, you play enough stuff like that, and you're going to be able to understand that, like Cincy, it's going to be really hard for me to stomach what their ownership I believe to be. And that's what this comes down to. I look at my top owned batters, their Milwaukee pieces, their Cleveland pieces, their Tampa Bay pieces, their Minnesota pieces. And that's just not even me touching the Sims. The Sims really, really are not getting you to Cincinnati today. I hope you understand, like, Cincinnati, they should, if you're doing everything correctly, utilizing the Sims, just running it straight, you shouldn't be getting a lot of Cincinnati relative to what their ownership is. Like, almost none. I have 6% Cincinnati. That's a low number out of 100 lineups I'm playing.
Yeah, and so I was build out my 6 lineups here on FanDuel. So I had to click on Cincinnati to get them here. So they wasn't filling them in as too many as full stack one-offs. It's putting McLean into every lineup I have. But all right, let's export these. Let's go to the top stacks tool. I did that not export. That's a problem. Top stacks. So who else? Which other team are you feeling intrigued by? The Mets against Noah Cameron? Noah Cameron, isn't he mostly a ground ball guy?
Noah Cameron, yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah, I haven't memorized his, or I haven't written him up enough times to know his thing.
Yeah. He's not really a ground ball guy as much. 43.8%, 30.3% fly ball. So more of a fly ball guy, actually.
Okay.
But 3.36 expected ERA, 2.56 ERA. You just have to know they're trying to limit his innings. Like, that's the reason that Noah Cameron isn't all that appealing here. They put him out for 109 pitches on 4 days rest out of the middle of absolutely nowhere against Pittsburgh. And they had kept him 83, 88, 84, 80 previous to that. So coming off of a game where he went to 109, you best believe that they are probably going to be limiting his pitch count.
That makes a lot of sense. I had forgotten that he went on 4 days there. The Miami side, the Brandon Young and the Baltimore side there against Yuri Perez. you've had a chance to mull it over. You heard I was more interested in both of the hitting aspects of this one. Do you want to round out those thoughts with your comments?
Oh, with Baltimore,
Baltimore and Miami.
Yeah, Yuri Perez. Both sides are there's both sides. We know who they are. The Nick
Team McBee, shout out.
Nick Pivetta will be in the afternoon slate, and that'll be definitely a both sideser for me. And so I'm just going to be out here betting baseball all day, and definitely you best to believe I'm going to have Nick Pivetta, and I'm going to have a lot of Philly on the other side of that one for sure. But that's kind of what this is with Yuri Perez. I just bet his over 5.5 strikeouts, which some people would say, oh, you obviously think, he needs to do that. Yuri Perez is really good. His stuff is really good. He had all of last year off. Did he have Tommy John? I think he did.
Yes, he did. Or it was something, it might have been adjacent to Tommy John. It was an elbow injury, though, I think.
Yeah, he is 6'8" with just some of the nastiest stuff. I mean, four-seamer is incredible. Throws it at 98, 99. And then you get so much volatility with him. I think he's actually, I really don't have a lot of Baltimore interest, if I'm being honest. Other than the ballpark and the weather, this lineup has been underperforming all season long. And we could say, hey, positive regression, but you can only say that for so long. There's a lot of guys who have 1 foot out the door in some capacity. Ryan O'Hearn going to be a trade deadline target. Cedric Mullins, I've heard a million teams asking about Cedric Mullins and how he fits in for them. I think he would look really good. A team like Seattle should go get Cedric Mullins, if I'm being honest, just really stack up some lefties in that outfield. But as I go through it,
they just have so much power against righties. That was just my main thing. They suck against lefties.
They do. Yeah, they definitely do. But I think Yuri Perez has been limiting it pretty well so far. 37% hard hit on the season. The walks are always a concern. So if he sets the table for a couple of guys, there's enough pop. And I totally see what you're seeing, but I'm probably not going to be getting to a lot. I have 2% Baltimore today. Not really a team that's going to make or break my day. Tampa Bay, I gave them a little bit of a boost after we talked about them. And then my Minnesota Twins, I think they should be more popular against Mitch Keller. They don't really have a lot of their middle bullpen arms that they'll be able to utilize here. Might have to play some good bullpen arms just by default, no matter what the game script is, just because of yesterday's shellacking. But Mitch Keller, he's just on the struggle bus again. 265 expected batting average, sub 19% strikeout rate. If you don't get strikeouts against the Twins, specifically the lefties and Wallner and Clemens and Castro, who switch hits and does everything for us up at the top of this lineup now, you are in for a rude awakening. And 170 expected ISO isn't crazy high against lefties, but it's still more than serviceable when you take into account how much power we have from the left side. Larnach, just imagine if we had Kirilloff healthy. I mean, this would be just a really dynamic long ball team, a little bit of the Bomba squad elements, but, Royce Lewis, he'll come back to life eventually. Carlos Correa has been, not as good this season, but still batting cleanup. And Byron Buxton is Byron Buxton. So the righties, I'm not shying away from anything there. Minnesota, one of my highest owned teams as well.
All right. It was Tommy John for Perez. And by the way, he's no longer the youngest pitcher in the league. That goes to Didier Fuentes. Yeah,
so he will be the youngest pitcher in the league once Didier Fuentes gets sent back down. He is horrendous right now. I think he did get sent back down after that outing in Sacramento, by the way.
Yeah, he may have. I just pulled up his player card, but I didn't see. He was back. Yeah, he might have gotten sent down after that. The Cincy star. Okay, sorry. Oh, no, that was Yuri Perez. Sorry, that's why I'm not seeing it. Didier Fuentes. The Braves.
How much Milwaukee am I getting? I'm getting a lot of Milwaukee. 18%. They're my highest owned stack. Eric, I ran the stream straight up 10% to first, 75 lineups. I got 16% of Cincy. Depends. So one thing I did is I boosted some of the top pitchers. I really boosted them. And also the stack type. So I'm telling you what I'm getting in terms of 5-man stacks. I'm getting a lot of 2-man stacks, but they're still counted as stacks of Cincinnati. So you have to be careful when you're talking about in that capacity. Yeah, you probably are getting 16%. I have higher than that because of how much Ellie De La Cruz I have how much Spencer Steer I have, but they're the only two I'm really getting to from Cincinnati whatsoever. Everybody else way, way lower. So make sure when you're talking about stacks, it might say 16% on the stacked exposure screen, but when you go in and look at them individually in the stack ROI or the exposures tab, you can look at that and you're going to see 5-mans, see what your 5-man ownership is going to be. And that's going to be very, very different in this case. You go to the stack ROI tab, 5-man stack ROI, and then see how many 5-man stacks you have of that specific team overall. And then you can, once you favorite, you can look at the favorites. You can basically know, hey, these are the 5-mans that I'm having of it. See what your exposures are there. And it's going to be different. So you can click on the tag, the stack exposure thing. So EMAC, go back to I just want to show them. So go to exposures in the top right there. And now click on, the stack exposure there. So utilize that. That's the screen that I use all the time when I'm citing what I have, because the 2-man stacks are still getting factored into the overall stack exposure, and they're non sequiturs. They're not the same thing.
All right. And mine doesn't have 5-man stacks because you can't do that on FanDuel.
Correct. You'd be cheating.
I mean, I can do it, but you guys can't.
Well, you technically can have a 5-man stack. You could have.
Well, we count the pitcher. Yeah, count the pitcher.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I did not getting the Hunter Brown I wanted. So I'm going to boost a little Hunter Brown. I won't go against my Mariners, but I will.
Yep. So Dan said 12% Cincy 5-mans. Yeah, so it should be a little bit lower. Again, the Sims, if you're going to be around the field on Cincy, I have no problem with that. 0. We're talking about 12% exposure of your lineup set. I have no problem with that. I'm going a little bit lower. I'm sitting right at that 6% number. It's not going to budge a lot.
See, I'm at 2%. Isn't that wild for Cincy?
Yeah. See, but I mean, that's the thing is that I boosted a couple of pitchers a little bit differently just to get a little bit more of this guy, a little bit more of that guy. And so there's always this push and pull that's going to exist as we're utilizing the Sims. And, obviously a sport like baseball, it's going to be less concrete than a sport like NFL, where I think there's a particular way to go about it with chalky players, depending on what position they're at, I suppose. But, I feel like baseball, when you get to more Gilbert, you get to more Flaherty, you get to more, I guess Flaherty's a bad example because he's not expensive. You get to more Brown, Peralta, Gilbert. You're probably going to get to less of the Cincy bats because they're all kind of in that mid 4K range, like all of the other guys that you're looking at the top of the lineup. And everybody's in play on the entire team. I mean, we're talking about Colorado here, but there's only one third baseman you can play, Marte or Espinal. McLean's only at second base. Steer's only at first base. Stevenson's only at catcher. And then outfield, Hayes Friedel. There's not really nice multi-positional eligibility. So, you are getting a lot of lineups that look very similar to other lineups when you play Cincinnati today.
48% Christian Yelich.
Yeah, he's by far the highest guy in the Sims. I love Yelly today.
This is going to be an interesting slate. I'm not able to quite get a lot of
I needed to bet his base this year right now too. I had a note about that afterwards because it's Jake Irvin, and Jake Irvin must pay for his sins.
All right, one last look here, and then I'm going to submit this. All right, Colorado at 18%. It's a little rich for my blood. I would like them around 12. So this is I'm just showing you guys the tool. I know people get mad. Oh, why are you showing the tools, EMAC? Because they're awesome, and you should be using them. That's why I show them. And then I get a whole bunch of notes from people saying, "Oh my God, I didn't know that's what the single lineup sim was. That is so much fun to play around with." It absolutely is.
You're fun to play around with.
The single lineup sims.
Oh, sorry, the single lineup sim. Hello, gamers.
Greetings, gamers.
You got your lineups in?
I am uploading them right now.
All right, that would be good. Specifically Cubs lefties. Yeah, Cubs lefties overall. I mean, Will Warren. Will Warren has some push and pull going on for different things. But lefties, 157 expected ISO, 166 actual ISO against him. You just can't play any of the righties. I like Suzuki, actually, as because it's, say, a Suzuki. But outside of that, don't play righties there against Will Warren. He's just so shut down against him. He has like a 34.7% K rate against righties. Holy shit. He's just so ridiculous against him.
I traded for him with T. McBee in our Dynasty League.
What'd you give up?
A lot. Well, expiring contracts, like say a Suzuki, funny enough.
Yeah,
and
that was uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable, Stephen Leibowitz. Be nice. Any content coming up for MLB, Best Ball, and DK? No, but if there's enough interest, there's always a world where we make content for things that people are interested in.
And Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock. Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock. Chris Baggs is on this very channel doing DK Best Ball drafts. I have a feeling there may be a couple other Best Ball shows to fill some time Monday through Thursday here. But I'm not the one who makes the schedule. We'll have to ask Third Leg Greg.
Oh my God, no George Springer in the Toronto lineup today.
Are you serious?
Yep, dead serious.
Well, that was going to be my Springer dinger for our home run picks.
Well, they're not on the main slate, so
they are on Yahoo.
They are. That's very bad for you. I bet a Springer dinger that's going to get refunded, so that's chill. Best ball donations.
Makes me want to ask you, do you know what time it is?
I think duet time.
Are you ready?
Yep.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Song of the day. Song of the day. Yeah. Go. Now it's your turn. The refrain.
I'm gonna take E-Mac and I'm gonna bite off a piece of that sexy sex song of the day.
Cha cha cha.
Oh, Amy, super chat. Don't forget her super chat. We have her tiers. She asked tiers for fears. We got to throw in tiers. I'll pull that up here right now. E-Mac, give your home run pick.
Well, I'm all discombobulated from my dong of the day.
Yeah, it
Dominic Canzone of the day.
Oh. I love canzones. Delicious. All right. Tier number 1, Byron Buxton for me. Aaron Judge is mega chalk, and he should be. So, yeah, Aaron Judge would be the best projection, but I'd be getting a little bit different there. Playing tier number 2, Ellie De La Cruz by a mile. Tier number 3, that is going to be... Ooh, this is more difficult. Jazz Chisholm, actually, especially if you're going to play Judge in tier 1. Tier 4, Cody Bellinger. Tier 5, that is going to be Christian Yelich. And tier 6... Hunter Brown, or if you're trying to get a little bit different there, Freddie Peralta. Let's go.
All right. I also like to look here at the home run percentage on the top batters tool. You can find sometimes weird ones pop up like Matt McClain, 24% chance for a home run. That feels a little. Jackson Churio, he's up there. Kyle Manzardo, there's a fun one.
Yeah, he's fun. He hits balls far.
Yeah, so those are solid guys here. I'm gonna hit a quick soliloquy on the late slate. Anything else you want to mention on the main slate?
Not really, guys. It's a fantastic day to be alive. We got one day. Let's make it count. Today is that. No, don't put that up on the screen. That's not what we're doing here. This is your one shot, your one opportunity to see everything you ever wanted until we are degenning on WNBA and NBA Summer League the next 4 days. So make it count. Obviously, I'll be playing an MLB All-Star game as well on Tuesday. Looking forward to that.
All righty. So quickly, for those of you that don't want to read, but if you want to read, the link is in the YouTube chat for the Spotlight Pitchers Top Stacks article there. We've got... The
Anthony
late slate has
Anthony
Volpe. Okay, we have 3 good pitchers. You get Christopher Sanchez, who should have made the All-Star team over Jason Mizorowski or whatever his Mizorowski.
It's not his fault. He didn't do it.
It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Anyway,
Sanchez having an even better year than he did last year when he did make the All-Star team. He gets to go against the Padres, who got to face Zach Wheeler last night and Ranger Suarez the night before. That's just a great lefty combination there. So Sanchez lucks out getting those other 2 guys in front of him. If you need a little bit of a differentiation play, Merrill Kelly striking out righties like it's his job, going against a mostly right-handed lineup there in Anaheim. He has a 27.2% strikeout rate against righties over the last season and change. And then Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yes, he was bad in his last outing. He's only 26. He's awesome. And he gets to take on the San Francisco Giants. Those are your key pitchers. On the hitting front, go after Jose Berrios, who has allowed the second most home runs since 2022. You may not have known that, Eric. You may not have known that. Mm-hmm. Sadly, no Springer, but Clement, Vladdy Daddy, David Schneider, Bo Bichette, those are the guys to go after to go against Jeffrey Springer, target Shea Langoliers, Max Muncy, Nick Kurtz, Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler, and Tyler Soderstrom. Pretty much the whole team against Berrios. Berrios still in that stretch of where he's allowed the second most home runs in the league. He has a 3.54 ERA, but he blows up. 3 times this year he has allowed 6 runs, and 1 time he's allowed 5. That's just crazy. He is an incredibly mercurial guy. This is the perfect spot to pick on him. Yep. Those are your late slate recommendations.
Righty power versus Berrios from now until the day we die. Righty power.
Let's see. What do we got? Churio for the dong of the day from Gary Gregg. Stephen Leibowitz going with Westbrook. Alex Diaz says Giancarlo. Fact 74 wants Royce Lewis. Benny Tingman says Trevor Story. SBT Mike says Jaron Duran. Hines going with Story as well. Casey Leatherwood says he's got Michael Busch and Matt Wallner from the window to the Wallner for the home run there. That was for you, Eric.
Jesus Christ.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Mike Stanton, bonus points there for Ben Willie. I've been around long enough to remember when Mike Stanton was not just a pitcher for the Yankees, but he was an outfielder for the Marlins. Where can everybody find you, Mr. Lindquist?
You can follow me at Eric Lindquist over on X. CJ Abrams scratched. That is really annoying. Holy shit. Does that mean Wood is going to end up in the lineup now, or who's going to get upgraded? Can we try to react to this news? I want to react to it. Who do I think ends up moving up in the order? My guess is Call now leads off. And is this a spot where Ahmed Rosario ends up in like the top 3 out of the middle of nowhere?
Probably.
They want to give James Wood a day off. Paul DeYoung could come into the lineup, but
I bet it's going to be DeYoung.
Shortstop.
It'll be DeYoung that goes in.
Yeah, who's going to play shortstop today, though? Do they even have another?
I'm looking at roster resources. It's got to be Rosario or DeYoung to play short.
Yeah. What a time to be alive. Good luck, Washington. By the way, Freddie Peralta, if you're able to react, the best way to probably react to this is right now at the moment. I'm Freddie Peralta. You're going to get a leadoff guy that probably doesn't strike out as little as CJ Abrams. So like Freddie Peralta, updated lineup. Here we go. Just want to get this out for the people. Call is leading off. Called that one. DeYoung is batting cleanup now. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. All right. Well, I had 6%, so that's not bad. He was like the only Washington National that I had. That's the annoying part. All righty, y'all.
With that, gamers, you can follow me at EMACDFS. It is Stokastic_COM. Good luck. Try not to miss baseball for the next 4 days. See ya.